Hello everyone, today we will be changing general form to vertex form or graphing form. So we will use completing the squares in order that we can change the general form to vertex form. So this is the general form right here, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Once we have this equation, we're supposed to change it to vertex form because in here we would not be able to, just by looking at it, we will not be able to determine the vertex. Well, in here we know that the hk is the vertex. So changing a general form to vertex form would be a fastest way to determine the vertex. So we are going to have an example to see how it works. So we are supposed to change this general equation right here, y equals x squared plus 14x minus 5. This is in general form. We don't know what the vertex for this is, so we need to change it to vertex form or graphing form. So these are the steps that we need to do. First step is to put the constant to the other side. Since this is a minus 5, so I'm going to add 5 from both sides. So plus 5 and then plus 5 here. So that means this is gone. So then I can go ahead and cross out the negative 5 and the plus 5. So I cross this out. So the left side of the equation would be y plus, so this one is already a blank because like it's already gone. So y plus 5, and then I am going to add a blank on the left side because this one is a blank. I'm going to add another blank over there too. So that is equal to, I write this down, x squared plus, I write this down, 14x plus, since this has been crossed out, I'm going to put a blank. So please have a blank on both sides. So again, this has a blank because this one was crossed out. So once there is a blank on the left side, we also put a blank on the right side. Now, what are the numbers that we put into the blank? So we use this number that we have here. The step that we're going to do is we are going to divide this by 2 every time. So divide by 2. So that would be 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that's a 7. And then what am I going to do is I am going to square the 7. So square it. So 7 squared. So I write 7 squared is 49. So this 49 is the number that we add on the blanks. So we are going to put 49 on both blanks. So plus 49 and then 49. So then we are able to come up with, we can add these two together. That would be 54. So I can have y plus 54 equals, I'm going to write it out. So that would be x squared plus 14x plus 49. Now, once we do this, this is actually a perfect square trinomial. So then we can go ahead and change this into a perfect square trinomial. That would be y plus 54 equals. So this, since this is a perfect square trinomial, I can have x and x here. And 7 is going to work for this. So that's a plus 7 and plus 7. Because if we have 7 times 7 is 49. 7 plus 7 is 14. Now, what is the fastest way? I'll give you a trick on how to determine these numbers here. This number that we actually square, so I'm going to use green for that. This number that we square is actually the number that we write here. Okay, so this number here that's the one that we write here. Okay, so we go over, we simplify this. So then we are I'm going to show the work on the other side over here. So this becomes y plus 54 equals, since there are 2 of them, I can square it. So I can go ahead and say x plus 7. And then that's a square because that means there are 2 of them. And so from here, I am going to subtract 54 from both sides, minus 54. So then we can cross the 54 out. And so we are left with y equals x plus 7 squared minus 54. At this time, we already have the graphing form or the vertex form. And so we can already identify the vertex. So our vertex here is switch the sign of this. So that would be a -7 and keep the sign of this. That's a -54. So this is our vertex. And so from general form, that's the general form right here, we have changed it to graphing form or vertex form. So these two equations are equivalent. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And if you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over this. It's pretty much the same steps that we did from the first example. We are going to move the constant to the left side. So since this is a +2, I'm going to -2 from both sides and then -2 here. That means that this is already a blank because we're going to cross that out. So that's already a blank. So cross this out. So we are left with y -2 plus blank equals, write it out, x squared minus 8x, since this is gone, plus blank. So both have blanks on them. Now, the number that we put into the blank, so we determine it by doing this. First, we're going to divide this by 2. So divide by 2 every time. So that would be -8 divided by 2 is a -4. And then after that, we are going to square it. So that would be -4 squared is 16. And this 16, the reason why I got a positive, because you have a negative times a negative is a positive. That's the number that we put into the blank. So I'm going to put 16 here. And then this is 16. So then we can simplify this. That would be y plus 14 equals, write it out, x squared minus 8x plus 16. So then we can, this is a perfect square trinomial. That would be y plus 14 equals. Then we determine the value, x and x. Again, the trick is whatever this number that you wrote here is the number that we write here. So this becomes a -4. And -4. And it makes sense because if we multiply -4 times -4 is a positive 16. -4 plus -4 is a -8. So then from here, we can go ahead and simplify this since we have 2x minus 4. So then we can go ahead and write y plus 14. So I'm just going to rewrite it. Y plus 14 equals x minus 4. There are 2 of them, so I square it. So then from here, we subtract 14, so -14 and -14 from both sides, so we can cross the 14 out. So we're left with y equals x minus 4 squared minus 14. And this is already the graphing form or the vertex form. Our vertex for this is, remember, switch. So that would be a +4, and keep, so that would be a -14. Did you get the same answers as this? Good, perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!